What is up, YouTube? If you like vacation time or days off, I hope you're ready to mark your calendars, because in this video I'll be talking about all the public holidays you'll have in China if you're working or living here. If you want to see more details about these holidays, you can look in the description down below. So we'll get started. In this video, I'm going to be going in chronological order because the Chinese use the lunar calendar for most of their holidays. So to avoid confusion, I'm going to give you ballpark estimates on where the holidays fall within the year. I'm going to be starting in January and ending through October. So the first holiday I'm going to talk about is one that everybody knows. It's the International New Year's Day, January 1st. So you can expect a total of 3 days off. One is usually being on a weekday, and nothing really too special here, except for if you turn on the TV or if you go to like the main city center, you can maybe see an event or a ceremony where they count down from 10 and then they welcome the new year. The second public holiday, which is probably the most famous in China, is Chinese New Year's, also known as the Spring Festival. So what's special about the Spring Festival is that you get a total of 7 days off, and you may have to, depending on your HR or the company you work for, you may have to work on a weekend to offset to get a full 7 days off of work. But in the end, it typically works out where you get a total of 7 days off, whether it's weekends or weekdays. But just be prepared to work during the weekends if it happens. So expect nobody to work in China. If you're in the factory or if you're manufacturing, most of them are not going to be working. They're going to be going home, seeing their family members, and being happy. So the origins of this holiday is that there was a lion that used to be called Nian, which is year in Chinese, and it would harass the villagers. So the villagers came up with an idea, hey, this lion tends to not like the color red, so let's all wear red and throw fire at it or use fire to scare it away and make loud noises, because the lion no longer harassed them, which became known as the Chinese New Year's. Some activities that you can do during Chinese New Year's is go to a flower market, which I did with my wife. I bought a bunch of flowers and gave it to her family. We also had a huge family reunion where pretty much everyone in our family passed around dishes, and we chit chat and just talk about when you're having babies, when you're having kids, when you're getting married, all that stuff. And then lucky money. Typically, if you're single, you'd receive these from a lot of family members and friends. If you're married, you're not so much luck. I was married at the time. I had to give money to all the single people there, but it's supposed to be lucky money for them to have a lucky year. Now, one thing I must mention is not only does none of China work, but most of China is traveling inside China during this time. So I do not recommend you travel within China during this time period, because the public transportation is booked, as well as the hotels. They tend to be either overbooked or overpriced. So do not come to China during this time unless you're going overseas from China, because you will have a very bad experience when dealing with the subway or the speed train trying to go to other places within China, because everybody and their mama is trying to get home. The third holiday I'm going to be talking about is a Tomb Sweeping Festival. This festival usually happens between the first week of April, and you get 3 days off, one of them probably being a weekday, the other two being a weekend. And what you do here is that you kind of give commemorance to your ancestors. So the steps that people do in China is that they go back to their hometown because of their ancestors or their loved ones that passed away. They clean the tombstone. Then they pray to the tombstone, and they may light some incense. And for the third step, they may be able to give some food or some alcohol, or even burn some ghost money. The idea is that while they give to their ancestors and honor them, the ancestors will bless them with a good and prosperous year. And this is typically done all throughout China during this festival. The next Chinese festival I'm going to be talking about is May Day, or also known as International Labor Day, as most of you would know. What I like about this festival is that you get 4 days off versus 3. It's nothing really special or about the origins or anything like that, so I'll move on to the next one. So the next holiday is Dragon Boat Festival. Actually, right now is the weekend of Dragon Boat Festival, and we just finished it up. But you are pretty much guaranteed to have 3 days off, one of those being a work day and 2 of those being a weekend as usual. So really, you probably only get 1 day off. And the origins of this festival is that there was a poet named Chu Yuan. What he did is not only did he write a lot of poems, he was also very opposed to the views of the corrupt government and policies that were going on during his era. Fed up with all the policies and the corruption, so he drowned himself in a river. We had a lot of fishermen in dragon boats go recover his body, and they also pounded and made a lot of noises against drums so that they can scare away the creatures or the fishes trying to get to his body. And that's where the Dragon Boat Festival came from. So the typical events that happen in China during Dragon Boat Festival is that you have Dragon Boat competitions. Pretty entertaining, pretty competitive, but it is something fun to watch if you're just gonna come here during the holidays.
One last thing I want to mention about the Dragon Boat Festival is that you can eat their rice dumplings, which are usually filled with beans or meats or different pastries, and they are very delicious.
The next holiday I'm going to be talking about is Mid-Autumn Festival. This holiday typically happens between the beginning and the middle of September, and you can expect 3 days off as usual.
This is typically a festival where families spend time together, go back home, and it's also a festival where the moon is supposed to be the biggest, the fullest, and the brightest. There are a variety of foods during this festival, but the most well-known food are mooncakes, which, similar to the rice dumplings, they can also be filled with sweets, meats, and just delicious stuff inside.
And the last holiday I'll be talking about is National Day, which is pretty much Independence Day or July 4th, whatever you may call it, for China. I like this holiday a lot because you get another whopping 7 days off, like you do in Chinese New Year's, Spring Festival, and the weather is fantastic. However, like Spring Festival, there's a lot of people traveling, so I do not recommend to come China during this time because you're going to have trouble with public transportation. Do it so at your own risk. But if you do happen to come here during this time, it's always good to go to the capital city and you can watch the parade of the Chinese National Day. Well, that wraps it up for the public holidays in China, and I'm talking about the ones where you actually get days off. Let me know in the comments down below, what is your favorite holiday in China? If you want to see more tips and tricks about living and working in China, or if you have any questions about lifestyle here, you can hit the like and subscribe button to see more videos, or you can leave a comment down below. Anyways, thanks YouTube, and I'll see you next time.